Hello everyone, welcome back to USD Podcast with me Nisa Satriani.
And Gege, and we are both postgraduate students at Sanata Dharma University. Today is a very special day, Mbak Nis.
Yes, because we have a very special guest today, Bapak Paulus Kuswandono, and just for information, he is one of the lecturers on the English Master Program at our beloved campus, Sanata Dharma University. And also, he specializes in material development, educational psychology, and teacher identity.
Yeah, let's
Okay.
welcome Pak Kus. Welcome, Pak.
Thank you very much, Manisa, Mbak
It's
Kiki,
really
for
good
the
to have
warm-
you here. How are you?
Okay. Right, I'm good. Thank you very much. What about you?
We are feeling
Yeah,
shaky. We are nervous.
nervous, but we are
No,
okay.
please don't.
Yeah, but we are okay.
All right. Yeah. Okay. What's up?
Okay, so before we jump to a really serious discussion, because today we are going to talk about teacher identity. Who are
Wow.
we?
Get the hint over here.
Actually, we have been really curious, yeah, Mbak Gege, ya, because we have teacher identity construction in our curriculum, and as far as we know, there are not many universities that include that kind of course
Right.
in their curriculum. So,
Exactly.
why is it essential for us as pre-service teacher to be introduced to teacher identity construction? What are the reasons, sir?
Well, in fact, the history is quite long because it has happened like many years ago. In fact, it is related to my previous education for my PhD. I learned a course also related to teacher identity construction, and also I studied a lot of journals about identity construction or teacher identity. So we think that teacher identity is really fundamental, for teachers to understand the concepts of who they are as a teacher and who they will become in the future. So we think that within this kind of subjects, they can learn at least 4 components. Agency, it is also included. Of course, it is agency and then efficacy. Those two are quite related to education psychology. We also have this kind of subjects in the master's program. So teacher efficacy, agency, and then emotions. Emotion is also very important in the teacher identity construction. And the last one is resilience. So at least these 4 components are the foundations on becoming teachers. If they can really master, not just actually understand the concepts, but also master how they can cope with these 4 components, they will have strong identity as a teacher. So that's it. So we would like to invite our students here to learn together, to develop themselves. It's like a kind of a long journey for them to develop as a teacher. But at least in our course, for like a 4 months duration, they can really explore from the journals and also from their own lives, from the teachers also, because they also have to, interview or engage with, teachers outside of Sanata Dharma University related to their calling, their vocation to become teachers, and then they can learn from, this course. So learning how to become good teachers in the future from this subject.
Oh, I see. So it's
I see.
well, it's actually like a big concept.
It is a big concept.
Yeah, it's a big concept because like we cover 4
Yeah.
components before, and I'm interested in one of them. To
What
be
is it?
honest, yeah, it's agency. You
Yes.
talk about agency,
Oh,
right?
agency, yeah.
And then it catches my attention to nowadays issue. If you are up to date to the news lately
Yeah, of course.
about the bullying at
I
school
see.
that is happening at school, it happens quite a lot now in Indonesia. And talking about our like these 4 concepts shape our professional identity as teachers, right? And talking about this issue over here, how can we make use of our agency as a professional in educational system as teacher over here? How can we work our agency better in this kind of situation? What kind of identity should we carry out or should we perform in this matter? Should we perform like our personal identity is like my beliefs or my values, or professional identity where I need to consider many things, schools,
True.
kids, and etc. So.
Yeah, true, Mbak Kiki. Yeah, we have, of course, first of all, we have to understand the concepts of what teacher agency is. If you have already learned from the subject, agency is related to the acting out consciously, from the deep inside of our heart and also our mind toward a particular action. Okay, so acting consciously and also making decisions. It's actually hard for some people to make decisions.
Exactly, dilemmas.
Yeah, it's always put in the dilemmas. But agency is related to how well we can make decisions. Okay, and then the last thing is actually how can we impart our own influence on our environment, as well as our students, as well as other teachers. So at least there are three components here on the agency. Now the problem with the bullying is probably lacking the quantity and also the quality of our influence, toward our environment. The lacking the influence here can be because of our, being preoccupied with our own jobs as teachers. We are focusing like a kind of wearing blinkers, focusing on some other things, and then we ignore what's actually going on in some other things. Now, some teachers probably nowadays are too much focused on completing the syllabus and completing the materials, because they will be probably assessed by the headmaster, for example, or by the government, how well they have already achieved their learning objectives, and also, as well as the indicators of learning, focusing only on that. Whereas in fact, the life of our students, in terms of if we are talking about general pedagogy or general education, it's not only what is actually happening in the classroom. Even what is more important, actually, what is happening outside of the classroom. Now, where is the teacher agency here? What I can think of is how well they can engage with the students, not only just in the classroom, but also outside of the classroom. If the close engagements is happening between the teachers and also the students, I would say that it can be like the deterrent for the students to do the bullying, because that probably will they will feel like a kind of uneasy or uncomfortable to do bullying, because they are quite close to their teachers, and probably it's like a kind of can be a good deterrent if so. The close relationship with the students and also the teachers is actually like the deterrence for them, to do the bullying. How can it happen if we are quite close to some students, for example, like the bullier, I would say, but they do the bullying. So I think the interaction or relationship among the students here are quite problematic. Now, agency of the teacher actually can find the root cause of the problems. Why is this happening? Are there any like a kind of a root cause problems which can be like a kind of tackled earlier on, before it really happens, if it truly happens? Sometimes the detection is not quite easy, because bullying was actually all of a sudden it happened. Okay, sometimes because it's also like a kind of a very spontaneous, from some students to the other students. But if we can, educate the students in the classroom and outside of the classroom using a kind of a close, genuine, authentic relationship, I would think that this kind of modeling or setting the model here as a good teacher, the students probably feel not easy or not comfortable for them to do anything they like. Okay, because it can also happen that bullying occur because there is like a kind of one aspect in their own life which is not fulfilled. Now, what is not fulfilled? I think this is actually what we need to find out.
Like
trauma or emptiness. Emptiness here can be like emptiness of love, affection. If the students are loved, the experience of how grateful and how elated it is, the feeling to be loved by the other students and also by the teachers, the opportunity, the probability of bullying here probably can be minimized. So the true love, affection, attention from the teachers here is actually what is needed by those students.
Oh, I see.
So,
Okay, so I
yeah.
think like it's like many stakeholders can take a responsibility for this. Not only like schools, teachers, but
Right.
also maybe parents or
Yeah.
their environment as well. Yeah. Well,
Including
for-
the staff, administrative staff.
Exactly, because like that's how they communicate, right? They
Right.
communicate with all of these stakeholders every
Right.
single day. So for us as teachers, maybe the thing that we can do is just to build positive environment in terms of open communication. So the interaction will be open, So and then well, it will affect their character development.
Right.
Exactly, right? Because they can communicate with their peers and their teachers openly without any intention of
Yeah.
harming
Yeah. Oh.
people.
Taking advantage.
Yeah, well,
you know,
yeah.
in terms of
That's-
power.
That's more positive word to say.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you.
Okay, so we can understand that teacher identity shapes our agency as teachers by providing a foundation for decision making. So judging from the current situation where teachers seems to be confused, right? I mean, like how to act or to perform their agency related to this issue. So I would like to say that it is safe for us to conclude that actually we can say teachers in Indonesia actually are now facing, we can say, identity crisis.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we want to know from your opinion or perspective. So, what can we do to be better, or maybe to rebuild our
Rebuild our.
professional identity? Maybe also we want to know about your opinion because it's like a really complex situation, right? So we need the government to take part in this kind of situation. So based on your opinion, so what can the government do to help the teachers to rebuild their professional identity?
Yeah. Okay. Quite. Yeah. It's
Long
it's good and challenging question. Yeah. Yeah. Identity crisis, as you mentioned earlier. Yeah. Yeah. It happened really. Identity crisis is like a kind of a probably day-to-day experience, of professional teachers. Sometimes they cannot just stay, long with, like strong identity
Yeah,
all the
it's
time.
dynamic.
It's quite, yeah, you mentioned it, it's quite dynamic. But again, we have to, see the root cause of identity crisis or professional identity crisis here. There are several causes, but one of the biggest challenge of identity crisis or the biggest cause is like finding no motivation or finding nothing, finding like a kind of no hope, in this profession. It may also happen because the students, the teachers find it hard to innovate or to be more creative in the classroom, because if they just what they do is actually just daily activities. They concentrate on what they are doing every day, almost all 10 years or 20 years, doing the same thing. Of course, we can understand that they will be bored. Okay, although in the first year probably it has full of excitement doing just one particular strategy, for example, but if it's done or kept all the time from many years, the soul on the fire, we call it, from the teachers is gone. It may be gone. Okay, because the teachers probably is also bored, doing this again and again and again. So identity crisis can be caused by this kind of the daily humdrum of life. Nothing changed much. So what we can do in the identity crisis actually also make changes. However little the changes are in their own teaching techniques or strategies or anything they are experiencing in the classroom. Okay, so I think what we can do together with the governments is we need to sit together and then identify what are really causing identity crisis experienced by those teachers, because it may be different from one another, right? Some teachers probably require like a kind of meditations or require guidance on, finding their own passion more. And some other teachers probably are quite bored with their own, daily teaching techniques probably. So we need to really identify what are the causes of those problems. But we need to sit together with the governments, and then we probably can propose that we need this and we need that, because sometimes it is actually beyond our own power, to execute or to implement a particular program sometimes. So I think the government has already been quite open in terms of what they can do for the teachers, because we do have like associations, right? Teacher association, for example. So in Indonesia we call it MGMP.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
It's like
Musyawarah
very familiar
Guru
with that.
Mata Pelajaran, right? Yeah.
Right.
So like a kind of from this kind of community, they can identify together, they can detect the problems together, and then they try to solve together cooperatively, and then they can propose to the governments what they can do, or what they can ask, and what the government can do to help them, right? I do think the government is quite open, to help, this kind of teachers community, because actually this is their concern, to make the teachers community
Grow.
really, really live and then grow, and then also at the end of the day, develop their students.
It will be like sustainable.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but again, teacher identity crisis really happen, and it may be because of the too much focus on what they are doing, too much focus on what they are doing, and then forgetting or ignoring, what's going on the other aspects of their life that they need to also concentrate on. So I would say this is related to teacher identity. Okay, I still remember Parker Palmer once, one of the book author in the teacher identity course book, that teacher identity is really not related to what we are doing in the classroom in terms of teaching techniques and strategies, because we can mask ourselves. We can mask ourselves using different,
Mask.
wide variety of teaching techniques or strategies as masks.
Yeah.
Okay, mask means like to distance ourselves from the students. So for example, like, okay, today, guys, students, we are now doing with the Padlet. Okay, so please do the Padlet. Okay, and then I'm going to wait. So this kind of teaching technique, to some extent, may make the students and the teachers close, but it may also be, farther away or make a distance, because the teachers can just actually sit in the corner and then do the other stuff, and then the students are also doing their own, like assignments, learning assignments. So teaching techniques is quite problematic in such kind of situation, because it can make the students and the teachers close, but at the same time it may be distant. Okay, because the students are actually doing their own assignments by themselves. Okay, and
There's no interaction.
no interaction with the teacher.
Yeah.
So be very careful, because technology or teaching techniques can, mask the teachers to be distant from the students. Be very careful with this.
And we don't want that to happen in our class.
Right.
course.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like, I also, it's very interesting that you say, like, our identity crisis can be caused by feeling bored, right?
Feeling bored. Yeah.
Teachers can feel bored too. I mean, like,
Sure.
Yeah, we are humans.
yeah, exactly, because like
True.
the one that you point out before, because there's no dynamic in our like way of teaching or way of doing our work,
Yeah.
because
Monotonous,
we,
yeah.
exactly, there's like a lot of responsibilities that we need to do.
Like academic culture.
Yes, like for example, like administrative
Administrative,
task. Let's just say it. Okay. Well, we ignore the importance of getting to know our students better in class. We focus on like delivering the materials only without really, connecting to them
Right.
like as individuals,
Yeah.
right?
That's
So I
right.
think like the identity crisis can come from that as well. Yeah, that's very interesting point. So that makes me
You also make points. Okay.
yes. So if you want to do that, come here, join us in our TIC class, and you will discover your new
Okay.
being.
Strengthening
Thank you,
the
Kiki, for the
identity too.
testimony. Yeah.
Living proof.
Living
Okay.
proof.
Okay,
Right.
so yeah.
Evidence. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And then the last question, sir, because
Oh, you still have questions?
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, we've got a lot of questions actually.
No problem.
Okay, because this is gonna be very useful for us as pre-service teachers. As you know, like you are a senior teacher, you are still young.
Yeah,
We talked
I am
about this
young.
one before, and then
Come
he
on.
doesn't want to be called legend, so
Not
we
yet
call
old.
him like young legend
Right.
here in Sanata Dharma as like a young legend teacher, educator.
Yeah.
Would you like? Do you mind sharing? Some tips and tricks. Not tips and tricks. Maybe do you have like some messages for us as pre-service teachers to maintain our calling. I would say like calling as a teacher. I just don't want. I don't want to say like being a teacher is a job, but then being a teacher is a calling. So for me, how can I maintain, or how can we maintain
Yeah,
that
maintain and
perspective? Yeah, preserve our perspective on that matter.
Yeah, I would like to remind you of one of the topics, emotional labor and emotional work. You remember that? Do you
Yeah.
remember that?
Yeah, come to TIC class and you know
Okay.
what it is.
Yeah, emotional labor and emotional work. Yeah, it really happened. It really happens. You probably remember what is meant by emotional labor is like sometimes we are doing. Performing ourselves as a teacher here, but in mechanistic way, right? Not genuine, not authentic from our hearts. Okay, so you can imagine if for example, like some shopkeepers,
Yeah.
Yeah.
they say good morning, happy
With a
shopping,
very big smile
with
on
a
their
very big
face.
smile, I would say this is like emotional labor,
Labor.
right? Because they are asked to do that. As teachers, cannot do that.
Exactly.
We cannot
We
do
need
that.
to be authentic as much as possible.
Right? And in that sense, we come to what we call emotional work. Okay.
Yeah.
Emotional work means we acknowledge that we have emotions. Sometimes we also feel like afraid. We have fear also within our hearts, but we embrace it, for the benefits of our true, genuine teachers. We acknowledge that we are not superhuman beings. For example, like some students probably can ask us tough, difficult questions, for example, and it can provoke our emotion, really,
Really, yeah, that happens.
because we think that this student is right to test me, testing the teacher,
Yeah.
for example, like to what extent can the teacher answer this question? How knowledgeable the teacher is,
They can be
and-
tricky.
yeah, but in such kind of sense, we don't have to, come to the extent, okay. If you don't understand the answer, for example, we do not need to do it carelessly, because then the students can even think, if they know the answer already,
Yes.
they can even think how bad we are as teachers, in fact,
They're
So
clever.
if we don't understand, for example, we also have to control our emotion, in this case, emotional work. We have to say that at that particular moment we don't have the answer yet, but you promise that in the following day you have time to explore the answers together with the students. So we have to position ourselves as a teacher as a kind of a peers for them, to grow together, to develop together. In that sense, we come to the first word, transformation.
Yeah.
Okay,
Transformation.
transformation means we are not just transforming the students from one point or level here to another point level, right? But we also need to transform ourselves. So transformation will not truly happen if it only happens or only occur on one side for the students. But the teacher, no transformation. There is no true transformation. So true transformation means altogether dual transformation, not only the students but also the
But
teacher.
also the teacher.
So that is actually truly transformation, or transformative education. So in that sense, we have to develop together with the students, right? Okay, so this is I think a keyword in this case. Number two, I also remember emotional work, emotional labor, and also transformation. But I would like to, call our our thoughts about one of the course subjects we call it critical incidents.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Now, in critical incidents, we need to also think about our best moments, our experiences in the past, in which we try to make meanings. Make meanings is the keywords. Make meanings how important these incidents or events or moments to our life. Okay, the critical incidents can be bad moments, okay, really really worst moments, or can be like a kind of some good elating moments, can be both, or can some inspiring moments, but we grab it and then we pinpoint and relate to our personal experience. Now, critical incidents is really crucial for teachers as well as for those who are working in education fields, because they need to finding out what kinds of critical incidents they have experienced in their own life, which are inspiring for them, so that they can stay focused on their in their education. Okay. So for example, like some students or some teachers probably have experienced meeting some important person, like the president or some important minister of education, for example, and then they can make meanings of how important this meeting or encounter is for their professional life. Okay. And this is like a kind of reflection. So critical incidents is actually also teacher identity construction is full of reflections on the student's life, of the teacher's life, and how to make meanings on those reflections to like a kind of pinpoints, and then grip it and then hold it dearly, which can become the foundation of their professional work as a teacher. So once, for example, if they are depressed or feeling down, bored, identity crisis, and like a kind of want to quit or resign as a teacher, this kind of pinpoints events resulting from critical incidents can be like a kind of that inspiring moments, so that they can stay focused to become teachers and then stay happy also.
Stay
Because
happy.
stay
That's
happy.
the most important part.
Yeah.
Well-being is very important as teachers.
Yeah.
Okay, not only just to make the students happy, but they are not happy. It has to be both. Okay,
How can you make emotional work if you're not happy?
if you're not happy.
True.
So
Quote of the day.
right. Okay. So be genuine and authentic. Emotional work is be genuine and
And
authentic
authentic.
with yourself.
Okay, so
No.
thank you.
So in that sense, faking until you make
Oh
it.
yeah.
Huh?
There's no such a thing as fake it till you make it. No,
Yeah.
you will not make it if you fake it.
Right.
You'll ruin yourself.
In this course,
In
discourse,
this
yeah.
case.
Yes.
In this course.
Yeah.
Only in
Okay.
this-
Sometimes it may happen in some other field, in some other parts of people's life, but in that sense, no.
Yeah. Maybe it is more suitable for emotional labor.
All
Fake
right.
it till you make it, right?
Yeah, that's emotional labor.
So
But
yeah.
authenticity, being genuine,
Yeah, exactly.
that's actually
So yeah, if
The
we want to
recipe is
discover our identity as teachers, try to activate our emotional work, make meanings of our critical incidents,
Yes.
and then do what is that? Transformational learning.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And the last one, what is that? Hang on tight.
Yes.
Yeah, you can do it.
On our personal.
Personal critical
Experience.
incidents, right? Make those pinpoints.
Yeah. It can
New
make us.
vocabulary.
It can make us stronger.
Exactly.
Okay.
So yeah,
Cool.
Yeah, we learn from
write
the
down
experience.
that thing.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you.
Okay.
Pak,
Thank you very
for
much, Mbak Kiki and Mbak Nisa.
Yes,
You know.
hopefully we can have another.
All right.
What is it
Session.
called? Oh yeah, session.
Yeah.
What is it called?
Podcast.
Podcast. Oh, yeah.
Podcast. It is
Okay.
podcast.
Gen Z, I'm sorry, I don't know what podcast.
Educational
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah,
We'll
Mbak
see
Kiki,
you
Mbak
again
Nisa.
in the next podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Bye bye.
Bye bye.